Welcome to the show that takes up no more than 5 minutes of your time, but could help you gain massive real estate knowledge. It's 5 Minutes in Real Estate with best-selling author Shane Willis.
Hello, it's Shane Willis, the Pensacola real estate expert, bringing you today's episode. Look at the front of the Wall Street Journal. I just got finished sipping on some coffee there, finished the workout this morning, and that's usually my morning routine as I get up to the workout in, get my devotions in, and then I usually read the financials. I do subscribe to the Wall Street Journal. I try and keep up with that. I normally have a conversation with my commodities broker, usually between 7 and 8 our time, Central, before the commodities markets open, and come up with a strategic game plan for the day. But if you see all of this talks about how the economy is doing well. So how does that affect you and I here in the Gulf Coast when we start talking about real estate? Well, I can put a link up, matter of fact, we'll do so, to a Business Insider article that came out that talked about the Fed just raised rates about a week ago. And they were looking at raising them 2 to 3 times more this year. Now that's because that's an anti-inflammatory. Yeah, okay. You can tell I just worked out and I'm kind of sore. It's an anti-inflammatory. I meant to say anti-inflation measure. So that's what they're doing. That's why they're doing that. But it does start to affect us here in real estate. As soon as the Fed raises rates, you're going to start seeing credit card rates go up because those are tied to the Fed rates. You're going to start seeing adjustable rate mortgages, which there are still a lot of those out there. I have a couple of those on some of my investment properties. You'll see those start to rise, so payments are going to start to go up. So that's going to trickle down. But what it's also going to do is it's also going to change the rate of our mortgages that we get, even our fixed ones. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today, because we're going to lose a little bit of buying power with these rates going up. Some of this buying power that we've had, we've been spoiled. Spoiled's probably a pretty good word for that. We've been spoiled in getting these last few years. We're going to lose that spoiledness. There's the word. We're just going to keep calling it spoiled today. According to Freddie Mac, the latest primary mortgage market survey, interest rates for a 30-year fix are currently around 4.61%. So a little over 4.5% is what our current mortgage rates are. Now, again, some of us are spoiled, and they're like, oh my God, I'm out of the 3s, I'm in the 4s. My honest opinion is, shush. Those are still historically extremely low. I remember even in the boom, before the bust of 2004, 2005, 2006, when I owned a mortgage company, we were writing mortgages in the 6s all day. But people were happy because we were refinancing them out of their mortgage that was in the 9s. So when we say 4.5, it's still historically low. But we have to pay attention to what raising rates does to our purchasing power. So I actually came up with a little graph. I know it's not Infographic Friday, but there's a graph in this one. It says that the chart below shows the impact that rising interest rates would have if you plan to purchase a home with the price range while keeping your principal and interest payments between $1,850 and $1,900 a month. So I actually said, hey, this is what you could buy. At 3 3/4, you could buy a $400,000 house. At 4.5, you can buy a $370,000 house. And at 5 1/4, a $360,000 house is actually going to cost you $1,988 a month. That's just principal and interest. So you start to lose buying power. When people tell me they're going to wait a little while for prices to come down, that's not, we talked about supply and demand yesterday. So supply and demand is still going to be there. But you're losing buying power as we start to raise interest rates. Pretty much you're losing about $10,000 to $15,000 worth of purchase price every quarter point that goes up. Okay, so it is something that you need to pay attention to. Now, again, are they still pretty low? Yeah, they're still probably really low. Should we take advantage of that and lock that in right now? Yeah, I've noticed the refinance market is not as strong as it was because a lot of people are still in those low rates. They've already refinanced. But if you're looking at purchasing to lock in the rates, now may be a good time to do so. I've had a conversation yesterday with a client that is, they were first-time home buyers. I helped them buy a home about 2 years ago. The plan was, in 3 years, they planned on buying a bigger home because they knew they bought a 3-bedroom and they were wanting to have a third child, so they wanted to get a 4-bedroom, and they wanted to turn that 3-bedroom into a rental. Well, they called me up last week, so we met yesterday, and the conversation was like, hey, it had a lot to do with this rate stuff. You know, we may want to consider making that move now because rates are going to be higher a year from now. And according to Freddie Mac and the Feds, they're all looking at a very real possibility of rates being at 5 by the end of the year. So if we could look at getting a new home now, the 4-bedroom now, turning the 3-bedroom into a rental now, at least we can lock in the 3-bedrooms rate. Was it like 3 point something, 3 5/8 if I remember correctly. And the new property would be at 4.5. Now you've got at least 2. You've got your home and a rental property below 5%. So that purchase price, that purchase power is still there. Of course, you know, as we were talking about moving up the timeline, it didn't hurt the situation that when they called me, they went, well, we also just found out that we are pregnant with our 3rd child. So that 4th bedroom is going to be a little needed sooner. So that didn't hurt the situation. But at the same time, financially, I mean, obviously emotionally that makes all kinds of sense, but financially it makes sense as well because those rates are going to be rising. So just something to consider, whether you're buying a dream home, you're downgrading, not downgrading, but downsizing, downgrading. Man, I can't English this morning. I'm just making up words. They are English words, they're just not in the right context. Downsizing or upsizing, you may want to consider doing that sooner rather than later. All right, that's all I got for you today. As always, if you have not subscribed to get the tips, tricks, graphs, infographics that I send out on Friday, and I've also got a graphic today, get over to 5minutesinrealestate.com. That's 5minutesinrealestate.com. If you have not subscribed to the podcast, we are on iTunes and Google Play. So pick your player of choice. Get over there, hit subscribe so you get notified when we do the updates. I'd also love a thumbs up and a nice comment. Nice comment. And finally, the one thing I always ask is I don't charge any money for these. I do, however, ask that if you found value in it, that you share it on social media. Thanks for listening. Have a great Tuesday.